President Obama over there. Mark Penn's a Democratic strategist, and the Huffington Post Howard Fineman is an MSNBC political analyst. We talk a lot about optics, about what seems to be the way people convey. They're tired of listening to the president's words, but how he acts and how he responds to the voters last Tuesday is important, I think, to the voters. My surmise, they don't like the fact he left town. Your thoughts, Mark?
Well, I think it's perfectly typical after midterms for the president to focus on some international travel and agenda, because he's obviously had to push that off while he worked on the midterms. So I think it's a good thing to take the trip. The real question people have, and I think he needs some time to think about it, is how is he really going to answer what the voters said on Election Day? He hasn't really given them a clear answer yet. It took Bill Clinton months to really formulate that answer. Don't expect things overnight. Maybe today, with the tax cut discussion, maybe we've begun to see a real answer.
We'll get to that in a minute, but the whole question, there was a great comment by one of those Republicans that were in office after the Civil War who said there was political boss, someone like Mark Hanna. Isn't there something we should look like we're doing? I mean, aren't there things the president should appear to be doing? Shaking up the cabinet, shaking up the White House staff, doing things that show, I got it. I got the message. You're upset about the economy. I'm going to try to upgrade my effort. I'm going to enhance the effort that I've got here to fix the problems.
Well, I spent a good bit of time over at the White House yesterday, and I got the sense that they're operating on their own schedule. I think they've always operated that way. I think that's how they ran the presidential campaign. They have a certain imperturbability about them. They're going to stick to their schedule. This was the only chance that the president would have to make a trip like this before things really heated up in the next Congress. And by golly, he was going to go do it. Meanwhile, around the White House, they've literally taken all the carpets out and they're redoing stuff. But I don't.
Oh, that'll make us feel better.
But I don't sense among the people there who are left behind.
So you make my point.
Including David Axelrod. No, wait, that they're thinking of changing things in any dramatic way.
Well, that's my point. We have elections for a purpose.
They're in a defensive posture right now.
Look, you're a political expert. You're a political expert. It seems to me that elections always accomplish two goals. They decide who runs the country, and they send a message. The message to the voters this time was, we want change. Is he going to give it to him, Mark Penn?
I think that if he agrees to extend the tax cuts for everybody, that will be a real sign that A, he's going to change, but B, don't be fooled by whatever people are thinking or doing in the White House today. When President Clinton made changes, the White House didn't know about it until he was well along in those changes.
But he went around and pushed people like the brains that got him in there, Carville and Begout to some extent, although he hit the Texas, George Stephanopoulos, and brought in the wonderful Dick Morris. I mean, he was doing that pretty quickly, wasn't he?
People didn't really know that
but
until
wasn't he
sort
doing
of
it?
March.
Didn't he hit the panic button before we knew about it?
Look, the real event here is going to be what's going to happen between now and the State of the Union, what's going to happen to the tax cuts. The president's going to spend, I think, the holidays thinking, how is he going to respond? They looked at a truck that has been hitting them and aiming towards the Democrats since the Scott Brown election. It hit, and now they have to swerve. They know they have to swerve. I can't believe they don't know that.
Howard, do you agree? They have to respond in an active way, not just say, yeah, we'll try a little harder. It seems to me that every government that gets rocked like this does a change. The show, we're paying attention. The voters, I don't know how many times I have to say this tonight, the voters are angry. They want to see you get it.
Yeah, I think that's right. I can just report to you what the sense that I have is of them, and they are, I agree with what Mark's saying. They're going to take their time. They're going to see what cards the Republicans are going to lay on the table, and they're going to they're in a defensive posture where they're going to cede ground on various points until they figure out what to do. And frankly, they haven't figured out what the response is going to be yet. They have not figured it out. But I do not sense, and Mark may be right, things are going on the plane in Asia that we don't know about, that they're going to make wholesale changes.
No big executive, no big chief executive coming in like no chief of staff coming, no heavyweight.